Hi everyone, it's Suzanne. Today we're going to be making some farmhouse tier tray decor. We're using a mini cutting board, and of course the star of the show is going to be the wood bunny with the glasses. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and begin by just painting the cutting board with some black paint using a makeup sponge. Now the mini cutting board is actually a surface from Magnolia Design Company. It is such a cute size and perfect for tier trays. It measures 6 inches by 4. So here I'm just going to go ahead and dab black all over the cutting board, and then I'm going to go back a few times just to make sure I completely cover the surface. So that'll be my first step, and then I'll go ahead and proceed to also painting the bunny cutout as well. So here I'm going to go ahead and paint the wood bunny just with white paint. Again, I'm using a makeup sponge. I really like using this, especially for small wood pieces, instead of a paintbrush. This kind of helps so you don't get a lot of ink or paint around the edge of your cutouts. So again, just pouncing up and down, and I will give this rabbit about 2 to 3 coats until he's completely covered. Now I'm going to go ahead and decide what color to paint the glasses. As you can see, the other side was pink. I originally was going with a pink glasses, but because I'm going for a farmhouse theme here, I decided for a different color. So there, I just remembered the green that I'm loving right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the glasses with the green paint. So here I'm going to go ahead and cover up that pink with the green color. What I love about these laser cutouts is that it's so easy just to go right over a color that maybe you didn't like after you painted it. So super easy just to go back with that green color. I went ahead and just grabbed some blue masking tape here, just because when you're painting small wood cutouts like this, it's just easier to adhere it to the tacky side of the tape, and then just go ahead and apply your paint right on top. So here I'm going to go ahead and give the bunny just one more coat of white paint. Okay, I am just giving the cutting board just one more coat, and I am just going to push some of that paint downward, making sure it's completely covered, and it's coming along nicely. I think the bunny is going to look perfect sitting right on top. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just add some highlighting to his ears here with some pink paint. Now, I fell in love with this paint when I was at the store, but it is very, very light. You definitely need to add just a little bit of a darker pink to get it just a little bit brighter. But in this case, I thought it was okay. I just wanted to add some really subtle details to his ears. I'm not the best at hand painting, so I'm going to add some glitter on top of this bunny cutout just to kind of mask any little mistakes that I may make as I paint. But again, I'm just using that pink paint and just kind of dragging it right along the outline of his ears. And then I will go back in with some gray paint as well. And then, like I said, the last step will be to always, to add some glitter. Glitter always fixes everything, in my opinion, and it'll be a perfect detail to finish off this wood cutout. Now I'm just going to go ahead, before I add some gray highlights, I'm going to grab some water, just kind of blend that pink paint around his ears, just so it's not so harsh, and just to kind of hide some of my paint strokes. So I'm just using a little bit of water. Now it is a laser wood cutout, so I don't want to get it too wet or else it might warp. So again, just a little bit of water and a fine paintbrush, and I am going to just blend those colors together, and then I will go ahead and add my gray highlights next. Now it looks like I am going to go ahead and color in his eyes with some black paint before I add those gray highlights to his ears. So I'm just, again, using that same brush with some black paint, and I'm just going to do the best I can to get inside those etched lines that are on the wood cutout. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in his whiskers as well with some black paint. Now you're going to see that I am going to wipe this off and begin again. I always have a baby wipe nearby for mistakes such as this, because it is really easy to go ahead and just remove the paint that you don't want and just start again if you make any type of little mistakes. Because the paint is still wet, you still have some time to remove it, and I find that a baby wipe really helps with this problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off his whiskers, and then I'm going to paint his nose as well with some pink paint. And then I'll go ahead and paint the gray highlights onto his ears. Okay, now I'm going to add some gray highlights to his ears. It is a very soft gray that I'm using here. And again, I'm just using that same paintbrush and just going over my pink lines. And that'll just kind of help that to pop just a little bit onto this little cutout here. So I'm going to go ahead and just go around the edges on both sides. Okay, I think he's turning out pretty cute. I love this little rabbit. He is adorable, and the glasses are just the perfect detail. Next, I am going to be using a stencil from Magnolia Design Company, and this is the first time to use this stencil, and it is called the Dots and Mini Plaid. It's a 12 by 18 stencil. Now, I love the look of buffalo plaid on my projects, but it can be very time consuming using masking tapes and having to make sure all your lines are straight. Well, here it's already done for you, and it's super easy to use on your wood projects or surfaces. So here I'm going to cut right along that line because I'm only going to be working with the plaid stencil. Now, even though this stencil is larger and my cutting board is small, it's still perfect. I can still use it on smaller surfaces. Now I am using some chalk paste, and it is called Brilliant White. Now I am going to remove the foil, and as you can see, I'm having difficulty removing it. So I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. I think probably an X-Acto knife would probably be best, just to kind of cut around the rim of the paste. And then once I do that, as you can see, there's a little mini spatula that I'm going to use just to stir my paste. Again, because it is my first time in using it, I just want to kind of mix everything together so my consistency is good and makes it easy to apply over my stencil. Okay, so now I am grabbing that little mini spatula. I love this little tool here. And I'm just mixing my paste just to make sure there aren't any clumps. And it is a brand new bottle, so I probably could have skipped this step. But just to be safe, I went ahead and stirred my paste, so now it's ready to go. Okay, now I'm just removing the stencil from its backing, and then I'm going to bring in the tacky towel, and I'm going to lie my stencil on top of it and just press down just to kind of remove any tackiness that's on the back of it. Of course, I'm not using this entire stencil, but I went ahead and did it anyway. So now I'm just going to take it off of the tacky towel, and I'm going to bring in my little mini cutting board. And this is just a new product that they just added to their product line. I absolutely love it. I can see it used for so many different seasons. So now I'm just applying my stencil right over the top, and I'm pressing down, making sure I get those edges and I'm just going to grab my little squeegee, kind of go over it back and forth, kind of like you're applying a vinyl stencil to your surface. So again, just pressing it down because then I'm getting it ready to apply the chalk paste. Okay, so now I am just using that little spatula to get some of that chalk paste onto my stencil, and then I'm just using the squeegee to bring down the paint across the stencil. Now, as you can see, I'm being very, very cautious with how much paint or chalk paste that I'm bringing onto my stencil. So I'm just kind of moving it along, and then you're going to see me kind of go up and down with the paste, and you really don't want to do that. You just want to move the paste going downward and just keep adding more paste just to ensure that you cover the entire surface. And as you can see, there I go back up, but again, just move the paste down, making sure that the entire surface is covered. I did notice that I could have done a better job right along those edges, but that's okay because I ended up just sanding around the little cutting board to kind of give it a more rustic farmhouse feel. So that really helped to hide some of those imperfections, but I really enjoyed playing with this stencil. I think it's going to be perfect for Christmas makes, and just a basic stencil to have just to add some fun to any wood surfaces that you have or any projects that you are going to be making. So I'm almost done here. I have the surface almost completely covered. Again, you just want to move downward, and as you finish, you just want to go ahead as the last step is just to make sure that you remove any excess paste and just put it back into the little container because it can still be used for a future project. So again, just making sure you pick up any excess paste when you're finished with your project. Now this is my favorite part, removing the stencil from the surface. I love this stencil. I love the look of the buffalo plaid. It was so easy, and all I needed was the stencil and the paste, and I didn't have to measure or use all sorts of masking tape to create that. I do want to mention that these stencils do need to be washed in cold water immediately, and just give them some time to dry and you can reuse them again. I did sand around the cutting board just to give it that distressed look. Next, I'm just going to add one final detail to the bunny, and I am just painting on top a layer of glitter paint. It is clear. It doesn't have any texture. It's flat. It just has a really pretty sheen, and I love using this as a final detail on wood projects. And if I'm doing any type of mixed media, this is also a fun medium to use in your projects as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and give him one coat and just go ahead and let him dry for a little bit before we add him to the board. Here I am trying to decide if I want to glitter the glasses. So I'm kind of testing it on the back, but I decided, no, I think it's perfect just the way it is. So I am not going to add anything to the glasses. Okay, so now we are ready to start assembling our cutting board. So I am simply just adding wood glue to the back of the bunny. I love this wood glue. It's my favorite when I am working with cutouts and my tier tray. You can use super glue as well. I just find that sometimes it gets messy, so I try not to use it if at all possible. So I definitely love this wood glue, and it lasts a really long time as well. I also keep a paintbrush specifically for applying wood glue, so I don't go through a lot of paintbrushes. So once I adhere the glasses, I just rinse the paintbrush with cold water, and I also let it soak a little bit in alcohol just to kind of remove some of that extra adhesive that kind of gets through the strands of the brush. And then I just let it dry, and then it's perfect for the next time as well. So Again, I just love this wood glue. I think the elements hold together really nicely. And if I do get any excess on the outer part of a cutout or tiny piece as the eyeglasses, it's really easy to clean up before it dries. So that is the final detail, the glasses, and I think he's turning out super adorable. Let me know what you think. I think he's going to be perfect for that tier tray. Okay, so now we can add our final details. So I am just grabbing some burlap ribbon and I am tying it into a double bow. And I think this will be perfect for the top of the cutting board. I love this burlap ribbon. It is one of my favorites. I love the texture and it's really easy to manipulate and form a perfect bow. So here I'm just trying to get my fingers out from the loops and I'm going to pull and tug on those loops until I get it how I want it to look. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add it to the top and cut off the tails. And I think that looks good. Okay, so now I'm just grabbing a thin piece of twine and wrapping it around my fingers. And I want to create a layered double bow. And I'm going to cinch it right in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and just get another piece of twine and just tie it right around the center to secure that bow. I originally wanted to use some raffia, but I thought using this twine in this manner would be really cute and be something different that I haven't done before. And I think it'll look really nicely stacked right on top of that burlap bow. So I'm just tying it into a knot. And that'll hold everything in place. And I'm just turning it around and kind of fluffing it. And I'm going to tie it one more time just to secure it. And I really love the look of this bow. I love just the extra texture that it's going to add to our project. So I'm going to cut the ends and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of see what I think and add it right on top, and I think it'll be perfect. Okay, so here are the bows. They are adhered together with some hot glue. I love the dimension that it gives to the top of our project here. This is going to be so cute for a spring tier tray, and you can even use it for an Easter tier tray as well. So here I'm going to go ahead and just cut the bottoms of that first bow, and I just want to cut them into a fishtail, and I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite side. But you'll notice that I will be struggling a little bit here to make sure that I'm cutting it correctly. I have cut this bow many times, but sometimes it still stumps me. So you will see that I need to turn it the opposite side just one more time, and then I finally will get that perfect fishtail along the bottom of that bow. So here it is. I think I have it now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed creating this with me, and I will see you in a next video. Thanks for watching.